In a bold and unprecedented move, Burkina Faso has officially launched a nationwide free land distribution initiative under the leadership of President Ibrahim Traoré. This groundbreaking policy aims to reshape the country's agricultural and economic landscape by giving landless citizens, especially young people in rural communities, access to fertile plots of land for farming, housing, and sustainable development. The government has declared that the lands being distributed were previously underutilized, state-owned, or reclaimed from abandoned private ownership. This reform is not only meant to combat poverty and food insecurity, but also to restore a sense of dignity and purpose among the population, particularly in regions affected by instability and displacement. President Traoré's administration has emphasized that this initiative is rooted in national sovereignty, justice, and social equity. Local committees made up of traditional leaders, government officials, and community members have been tasked with managing the fair and transparent distribution process. In areas where land has historically been a source of conflict or inequality, the new policy promises reconciliation and inclusion, ensuring that women, displaced individuals, and marginalized groups also benefit from the program. Citizens receiving land will be encouraged to use it productively, with the state offering support through agricultural training, seed supplies, and access to markets. Observers see this initiative as a clear assertion of Burkina Faso's desire to chart an independent path focused on internal strength, communal solidarity, and anti-colonial economic models. By redirecting national resources into the hands of its people, rather than foreign investors, the Traoré government is signaling a shift toward grassroots empowerment. Critics have raised concerns over logistical challenges and the potential for disputes, but supporters argue that this is a necessary transformation long overdue. For many Burkinabe, this land distribution program represents more than a political policy. It is a symbol of renewed hope, national unity, and the beginning of a self-determined future. Since coming to power, President Ibrahim Traoré has made it clear that Burkina Faso must reclaim its resources for the benefit of its own people, and the Free Land Distribution Initiative is one of the most powerful examples of this vision. The program has been met with overwhelming enthusiasm, especially among the youth and rural populations who have long struggled with access to land and economic opportunity. Many citizens see the initiative as a form of liberation from decades of inequality, exploitation, and dependency. By redistributing land without cost, the government is not only providing a means for survival, but also offering a foundation for future prosperity. In rural areas, the impact is already being felt. Families who once lived as tenants or seasonal laborers now have a piece of land to call their own. This shift is empowering communities to become self-sufficient, grow their own food, and even generate income through farming and small-scale businesses. The state has committed to supporting these new landowners with essential infrastructure like water access, farming equipment, and training programs. These resources are expected to boost agricultural output, improve food security, and reduce the country's reliance on imports. President Traoré's administration is also addressing historical injustices through this policy. For years, many people, especially women, ethnic minorities, and those displaced by conflict, were denied access to land due to traditional biases or administrative barriers. The current program has made inclusivity a core principle, requiring all distribution processes to be transparent, locally managed, and closely monitored. By involving community elders and civil society in decision-making, the government aims to avoid corruption and favoritism, ensuring fair access for everyone, regardless of status or background. This approach is deeply symbolic as well as practical. It represents a rejection of external interference and neoliberal models that have often prioritized corporate or foreign interests over the needs of the local population. Burkina Faso is choosing to rebuild its economy from the ground up, placing trust in its own people instead of international institutions. For many, this is a radical but necessary shift toward genuine independence, not just politically, but economically and socially. It signals a break from the past and a commitment to a new era of national dignity and self-reliance. Despite challenges ahead, including land registration, dispute resolution, and resource allocation, the momentum behind The initiative is strong. Local communities are mobilizing to protect and develop their new lands, while national media and youth movements continue to celebrate the policy as a landmark moment in Burkina Faso's history. If successful, this model could inspire other African nations to rethink their approach to land, sovereignty, and citizen empowerment. For now, the people of Burkina Faso are experiencing something rare in today's world: a government returning the land to its people, not in theory, but in action. The international response to Burkina Faso's free land distribution program has been mixed. While some observers applaud the move as a courageous step toward grassroots empowerment, others view it with skepticism, particularly from institutions that favor privatized land systems and foreign investment. However, the Traoré administration remains firm in its stance that the country's sovereignty and the welfare of its citizens take precedence over external opinions. Government spokespeople have reiterated that Burkina Faso is not closing itself off from the world, but is simply redefining its development priorities on its own terms, without exploitation or interference. On the ground, the initiative is also fostering a new sense of community. As people receive land, they are coming together to build cooperatives, share resources, and plan collective farming strategies. This growing spirit of solidarity is not just about land. It's about rebuilding the social fabric of a nation that has endured years of instability and hardship. Schools, clinics, and marketplaces are beginning to emerge in areas that were once neglected, signaling a broader transformation that reaches far beyond agriculture. The government hopes that this will encourage citizens who fled to return home and take part in the country's renewal. Looking ahead, the success of this program will depend on sustained investment, honest administration, and community participation. President Traoré's bold vision has created a powerful momentum, but it will require careful management and long-term planning to ensure that the lands remain productive and free from conflict. Still, for many in Burkina Faso, this is a turning point, a moment when the promise of justice and opportunity finally feels real. The land is more than soil. It is a symbol of identity, power, and future possibility in a nation determined to rise on its own terms.